Welcome to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever seen a horse who could talk? With your host, Louisa Barton, who really wants to be a famous rider. She really loves to ride fast. Presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care.
Truth is, I have horses with people problems.
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Enjoy the show.
Larsen Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larsen, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larsen Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital. Thank you for joining us on the Horse Talk Show presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larsen Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the studio with Dancing Pete Rhoda from Complementary Horsemanship, and I'm terribly sorry we're late this evening. I'm not sure what time zone I'm in.
She's been in England.
I have been in England and had a wonderful time, and we're sharing some of the details from Royal Ascot and among other things later on in the show. But what an amazing experience it was to go home for the first time in 7 years, and to go home with my dear friend Betsy, who tolerated me well with my shenanigans and my travels, and we drove miles and miles and miles, and we just had an amazing time, and we'll share all of that later on in the show with you. But we have a great lineup. We have a tip of the week from Dr. Adam Cayot, followed by some chatter about Royal Ascot. Then we have segment number 2 with the one and only
Linda Parelli.
Amazing.
Happy Horse, Happy Life.
Yes, Happy Horse, Happy Life from Happy Horse Haven. Then we're going to take you to England for some of my shenanigans and adventures with Betsy, so we can share some of that with you. Some amazing things happened. Then we're going to switch it up to Dr. Rullan, and he's going to talk ozone for therapy for horses. And then we'll close it out with Pete's tip of the week, Neil from Ocala Dog Ranch, and some other bits and pieces. But what's going on in the horse world? Well, quite a bit. I'm going to start off kind of on a little bit of a sad note, so we can get past it and get on to the good news. But there was a terrible fire in Ruidoso in New Mexico, and I'm sure you've heard about it. There is a reward actually out there of $10,000 for any information that would let any authorities know what might have started this fire. But it's truly devastated that area, and it's been so upsetting to watch. The incredible efforts of Brad Boland from Lip Chip and a number of other members of that community all got together and really pulled Ruidoso strong and managed to get horses out and people out and relocate everybody, and it's been absolutely devastating to all of the people there. So if you're watching up on the screen, you can actually go to the Racetrack Chaplaincy of America, Arizona, and you can get more information, or you can go to Lip Chip's page. Lip Chip LLC has lots of information on their page about how you can donate and help these folks, because obviously they've lost everything and it's been devastating there for everybody. So thank God for Brad Boland and all the people who jumped in to help. They drove all night back and forth getting those horses out of that fire. When they actually got the go signal, which means that wind had picked up and the fire was coming and there was no time left. So everybody just really worked together to
So that's not even where Brad trains?
I think he does.
He trains out of?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I believe he does. It's definitely one of the places he trains out of. But everybody just jumped in, and it was really it was a overwhelming, incredible when you see people. Often in hurricanes and things here in Florida, we see those sorts of reactions where everybody just gets together and helps, and it's amazing to see how humanity joins forces and a community can come together. But I know there are fires still going there, and I know there's still problems, but thankfully it looks like everybody has got together and got everybody out, but it's been really terrible. So please be aware of that situation, keep it in mind, and if you're in a position where you can help, please help, because it's been really dire situation. So On to more cheerful things that are going on.
Gentle
Brightens
Carousel.
up your day, yes. Gentle Carousel's Reading with Horses is going on. They're, of course, not going to be doing it on the Thursday that July 4th falls on, but other than that, we've got several Thursdays left now, I think, through July 25th, I think is the last one, or is July 18th? I may be wrong. But anyway, it's Thursdays at 10 a.m., and that is at the Ocala Downtown Market. And it is so wonderful. This program brings hundreds of kids out with their families to learn about horses, meet a horse in person, and learn about the importance of literacy and how to keep reading going.
But you missed the best part. The character in the story comes out.
It's so wonderful.
So the horse comes out that was in the book they just read. And then the cool part this year is they get a free book from the library, or from Dolly Parton's charity.
Everybody goes home with a book, which is amazing. It's an incredible program, and Gentle Carousel Miniature Therapy Horses do wonderful, wonderful things all year long, visiting schools and hospitals and rehabs. But this wonderful program is free for all ages, 10 a.m. on Thursdays at the Ocala Downtown Market.
And I'll warn you, if you go once, you'll go twice.
You will indeed. It's a wonderful, wonderful program. So very excited about that. And then we've got dogs. An epic dog and pony show. Ocala Dog Ranch has joined forces with Equine Performance and Innovative Center to bring you some international dog sports right there from August 23rd to August 25th. That will be at the Equine Performance and Innovative Center. Lots of wonderful, fun things going on. Vendors, food trucks, dog sports.
And dock diving.
Dock diving, yes.
And Neil, I was talking to Neil and I said, well, how many participants? And he was like, in the hundreds. I was like, wow.
Yes, it'd be amazing fun to watch too. And even if your dog doesn't participate in those yet, it's definitely worth coming out watching. Bring your dog on a leash and watch dog sports in action, and also learn about all the rehab opportunities there are at the Equine Performance Center for your dog as well. If you have a dog with an injury, if you have a dog that is involved in sports that needs some conditioning, lots of options. So great event, August 23rd to 25th here in Ocala at the Equine Performance and Innovative Center.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
Yeah, November's just around the corner. November 22nd and 23rd, Equine Industry Expo, All Breed Horse Parade, and Hobby Horse Equestrian Games.
At the Florida Horse Park.
Yes, it's a load of fun. It's free admission for all. Vendors, food trucks, parades, stick horse competitions, ribbons and trophies. You can win a trophy for having the best stick horse or the ugliest, wonkiest stick horse. And you can do show jumping, dressage, horse racing, Pasofino class, roping, barrel racing, and polo, all from the safety
and that's the 23rd is the stick course.
Yes.
From 10 to 4, and November 22nd from 10 to 3 is
the Equine Industry Expo, where you can learn all about all the different jobs, careers, and all those opportunities in the horse world. So
we have the education on the first day. Yes. And lots of education doing and having fun on the stick horses.
Yes, exactly. So all really, really good stuff. I want to do a couple of quick shout outs before I forget. I was actually at the Humane Society yesterday at their clinic. No, you looked nervous for a minute.
Yes.
Like, did you adopt a dog? No, I was at their clinic. And just before we break, I just want to do a couple of shout outs. I met some lovely people since I had my truck wrapped by Smash Wraps. People are stopping me left and right to say, we always listen and watch. Winnie, hi, Winnie. It was lovely to meet you outside the Humane Society yesterday. And Jake and his girlfriend, Layla, never missed the show. So I have to do shout outs for them because I just got to meet them yesterday.
You're going to start. You're going to start something.
I know.
Give me a shout out on the Horse Talk Show.
You're going to rap at Smash Rap. People stop you. We've got to go. We'll be coming right back with Dr. Adam Cayot and some Royal Ascot for you. This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, our television broadcast sponsor, Larsen Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, And DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
Equestrian. It's not just a word but a title. It comes paired with hard work, discipline and talent. LipChip is a company built by equestrians to make life at the barn a little easier. Introducing the HoofLink system, powered by LipChip, where a microchip becomes a secure key to unlock temperature, register for your next event, and keep track of required documents. Simply implant, scan, and unlock. Equestrians, the future is here, and the future is LipChip.
The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing, offering great communication, quality fencing, and all done in a timely manner. Reliable service with horse safety in mind all the time. Also offering customized residential, vinyl, wood, aluminium, and chain link fences services. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe. For more information, find Equifence of Florida on Facebook now. Broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the second segment of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larsen Farms. They are our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Speaking of that, Louisa Barton here in the studio with Dancing Pete Rhoda, and we have Betsy here from Larsen Hay, because we got some fun stuff coming up for you.
You mean Louise? For Thelma and Louise?
Oh, there you go, yeah. We're going to start with Dr. Adam Cayot. He has got a tip for us this week on hoof care.
Hi, I'm Dr. Adam Cayot with Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care for your tip of the week. Always pay attention to your horse's hoof health and hoof angles. Make sure that they are not, their toes are not getting too long and that they're on a consistent schedule with the farrier. This can alleviate, number one, a lot of foot pain or foot problems, and that can also lead to other problems with the joints and soft tissues that will need to be addressed and are much more severe than trying to, you know, have the farrier or your blacksmith attend to those things before they become an issue.
Hoof care, even more important at this time of year. Hoofs are growing fast, and we now finally got some wet weather, so be watching those horses' feet more importantly than ever. Oh, it poured last night, Fort McCoy. It rained and rained and rained.
0 yet last night, but we got some this afternoon.
I got none.
I've been praying for rain.
Yeah, just make sure you pray for how many inches we need. Don't pray for rain.
Is that in hands or inches?
Yeah.
How many hands of rain would you like? You know, there are 4 inches.
One hand. That's it.
Yeah,
one hand, okay.
Miami prayed for rain and see what happened.
Here you go. Do you know who created? And nobody say it out loud. You can comment or message if you know who created a way of measuring horses in hands. Don't say it out loud.
I already got it right, but I won't say.
So we are now going to take you to Royal Ascot. Betsy and I were in England for 8 days, and we enjoyed Royal Ascot to the full, and it was such a amazing, there's Wesley Ward.
Yeah.
Amazing, classy experience, and we got to watch the royal procession come through before the races start, and it is quite the experience. These are, do you remember?
The Windsor Greys.
The horses are the Windsor Greys.
They have a breeding program for those
That's
specifically.
Right. That's amazing, isn't it?
And that breed?
I don't remember.
Cleveland Bays.
Cleveland Bays.
I was going to say the Windsor's Bays.
No, they use Cleveland Bays.
Cleveland Bays
Okay.
and Windsor Greys.
So before we get too deep in this, because you guys are having a blast, tell me what it is. Like, I've never heard of it before.
What?
The
Ascot.
This is not. This is the Muse. So you've never heard of Ascot?
No, ma'am.
So Ascot's actually a tiny little village in England. It's a very, very cute, quaint little village. And I imagine that when Royal Ascot happens, it's quite a change for them because it's just a little quiet village. You get off the train and there you are in Ascot, and you cross the bridge and there you are at the racetrack. And it is a very, the Royal Ascot week's very much more, I guess, different even than regular Ascot, because Ascot's horse racing, which, you know, they have in almost every big town in England. There's a racetrack and they have racing. But Royal Ascot's a very special week. It's the finest week of the whole, all the Ascot meets. The Royals come every single day of the Ascot meet, and it's very, very, as you can see, the attire is very proper.
Formal.
It is their top horses, the top horses in the country.
So this would be considered the Kentucky Derby? If
Yes,
US.
it would be very, very similar. It's the Kentucky Derby,
The
sort
Derby.
of standard of, but everything is very much, it's all very professional, very classy, very
Posh.
posh would be a good word. It's the racetrack itself is gorgeous, isn't it? The whole facility is
it's
just
beautiful.
It's incredible. These are actually the top jockeys that were racing, and actually there's Joel Rosario, one of our very own there. But we had a chance actually to chat to one of the top jockeys that is from Ireland, and he races in England, and his name is Oisin Murphy. And we're going to listen to an interview with him in just a minute after we see the rest of this very beautiful royal procession, which was quite amazing, wasn't it?
Beautiful.
The whole thing was beautiful.
I was so impressed because when the king got out of the carriage and after the queen got out, the first thing he did was walk up to the gentleman on the horse closest to the carriage and walk up and looked at that horse and spoke to that gentleman on that horse that everything was okay, everything was good. And I thought, you know, there's a horseman.
Mm-hmm.
There's a horseman that he cares. It was the first thing he did when
It was
he got
very
out of the
nice.
He
carriage.
learned a little bit from his mother, I'm sure.
I'm sure he did. The whole family, yeah. Very into horses.
Well, Julia and Betsy said, interview that jockey. So I went up and said, do you mind, you know, if we do a little interview? And then he turns out to be like one of the most well-known jockeys in the entire country. So.
Who else do we
Who
know
else,
that
right.
could walk into somewhere and pick out the top jockey?
Oh, he was fantastic,
Kennedy.
wasn't he?
was
So he
very
told us a
kind.
little bit about Ascot, and here he is.
Louisa Barton here for the Equus Television Network and the Horse Talk Show, and we have met a new friend. Tell us your name.
I'm Oisin Murphy. I'm Irish, but I'm based over here in England.
Lovely. Tell us a little bit about Royal Ascot. This is our very, very first visit, and obviously we're really impressed so far. We've been to many Kentucky Derbies, but this is a totally different experience. So will you share a little bit?
Sure, it's a 5-day carnival, and it's the best horses from around the world. They're all turf horses, mine. So unlike your premier racing in America, we race on the grass solely here. I managed to get 3 winners so far, and we're on day 4. So I'd love to add to that win list if I could this afternoon.
Wonderful. And how many races are you in today?
I'm in every race, so there's 7 each day, and all the premier riders want to be here. For your fans at home, Joel Rosario's had a few rides. I think he's riding again later on.
I know him. I'll have to find him.
Yeah, and Irad Ortiz and Jose Ortiz have been riding here in the past few years. They're not here at the moment. I think they're both in Saratoga. But it's a great meeting. It's one that there's a lot of pressure involved because we all want to win.
Absolutely. So the royal family come through and do a procession in here at 2 o'clock?
Yeah, so they actually enter and exit all afternoon through the gate just beside us, and it's fantastic that they are supporting this meeting as the late Her Majesty the Queen did, and it makes the event even more special.
That's wonderful. So tell us the names of the horses you're riding this afternoon.
Well,
so we can bet on them.
Because there's 7 of them, I can't list them all off. But I ride a lovely filly who's trained in France called Ramatuelle in the Group 1 today, the Coronation Stakes. She's second favourite. I'll be riding her a little bit quietly, but hopefully she can go there with a huge chance.
That's lovely. So we're definitely going to put some money on that one then.
Well, I don't want anyone to fall out with me, but I'd certainly like to deliver the win for everyone.
Thank you. Any last things you want to tell us about Royal Ascot? It's a very special meet.
It is. Well, you look absolutely beautiful, and it's great that everyone makes an effort, particularly when the sun's shining. I can't compare it to any other race day. You know, Ascot in the heart of Berkshire. We're only an hour from the city of London, and it's truly remarkable.
I'll say thank you so much for talking to us. Absolutely wonderful, and we're very excited for you this afternoon. We hope to see you in the winner's circle. Louisa Barton here for the Equus Television Network, enjoying Royal Ascot, and we ordered the perfect Florida chamber weather for you. I got a really nice hug from him too, and he was just such a gentleman, wasn't he? He was so lovely to let us completely clueless people for our first
we didn't
go.
know his name, and here he is, a top rider.
He's a top rider. Well, we know now.
He was a great interview, though.
Yeah, he was. He was very
wonderful.
kind.
Well, that noise means we are done with this segment.
Well, it means actually we have a minute left, so I have a minute to say that Royal Ascot is honestly probably one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had. That was just first class everything, wasn't it?
Everything.
Just first class everything. Just an amazing experience. I look forward to going back again and hopefully taking some other folks with us who get to enjoy, oh yes, the Royal Enclosure. Let's not talk about that. It was a good time. We are coming right back with the one and only Linda Parelli. Stay with us on the Horse Talk Show. This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, our television broadcast sponsor, Larsen Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch.
Faulty wiring is the leading cause of barn fires. I'm Pat with Pat Myers Electric. Equine facilities have special electrical needs. The knowledgeable and licensed team of electricians at Pat Myers Electric will ensure that you can achieve your vision for a beautiful, safe, and functional horse facility. From new construction to rewiring and updating, the Pat Myers Electric team is ready to jump in and help keep your horses safe. With a small farm of our own, we truly understand the unique concerns of the horse owner. Don't take chances. For all your current barn needs, go to patmyerselectric.com.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at seminolefeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care seeks to be a leading international veterinary practice that provides state-of-the-art veterinary care to their patients while fostering professional relationships with their clients that stand the test of time. For 24/7 and the best in equine care, check out Peterson and Smith at petersonsmith.com or like them on Facebook now for more information. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hey, this is Buck Brannaman. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Louisa Barton here for the Horse Talk Show and the Equus Television Network, and we are at Happy Horse Haven, which seems very appropriate and a perfect spot to talk to none other than Linda Parelli. Dancing Pete Rhoda is here with us also, and we're just going to have a candid little chat.
And I know I deal with this, so I'd love to hear your input on how do you balance the show part, they want this done, and the relaxation, the connection, everything that we're wanting. How do you balance that to keep them still interested? Because you got to keep that. However, still have the horse be in a good state when you get them to the show that they want to go to.
Yeah, it's like a huge question, isn't it? Because people just want to be able to just do it. It's like, well, I've been training my horse every day. I should be able to just go to the show and everything just works out. But it doesn't, because everything's different. And I think a lot of the time what they train at home is not what they need to train for the show. So it's not the sport that goes wrong, like your sport knowledge or your technical knowledge isn't the problem. The problem is the horse's behavior. What do you do when it's scared? What do you do when it's distracted? What do you do when it's buying into everything else instead of listening to you? And then how do you prepare for that at home? You know, you've got to simulate those situations so that horses go, oh, okay, I've done that before, and then they can rely on you. Because you're the only constant thing. When you go somewhere, everything's different for the horse. And I'm sure it's like an alien abduction. Like they get in this silver spaceship and they arrive somewhere on Mars, you know. And the only one they have in common, the only thing they have in common there is you. And if we're different, if we're nervous, if we're tense about what's going to happen, if we're annoyed by something that didn't work, the horse is going to feel all of that. And horses respond to energy more than anything else. Anything. And so if our energy is a little bit off, horses are like, who are you today? And that, I would say, is the biggest problem, you know, when people go to perform. They go to a competition, or they go to a trail ride, or they go to a clinic even.
I actually remember that, as, believe it or not, as a child. I actually do remember that far back. I do actually remember having that experience, you know, having a horse or pony that I rode at home, or actually at Stoneleigh Abbey, interestingly enough, where I kept my pony and horse. I would go to a show, be in a different environment, and I would get anxious and nervous, like, am I going to do okay? Am I going to win? Am I going to place? Am I going to get a ribbon? Is the horse going to be good? And everything would be, and I'd have butterflies, and I would actually see that immediately, you know, well, what's wrong with my horse? Well, what's wrong with me? You know, what am I doing that I'm passing over to my horse?
Yep.
And exactly. I absolutely know that happened, so.
Yeah, it's kind of, I have a saying, you know, because part of harmony is to lead the dance with your horse, you know, to lead the way, not to just make horses do it. So I go, you know, I'm walking, I'm trotting, I'm cantering, how about you? Well, that applies to everything. Like, I'm calm, how about you? I'm nervous, how about you? You know, I don't know what we're doing, how about you?
Yeah.
So we are the leader, and, you know, it's not like this is just a pair of skis that you can get on, and even if they've been in the closet for years. You know, horses are not the same. They're living, thinking, feeling, breathing, opinionated animals.
Yes.
You know, and they have a strong sense of survival and self-preservation, and they're going to do that. They're going to, you know, if they can't rely on you, they're going to go, every horse for himself, you know.
It's true.
There's you, I'm out of here.
And talking about the dance.
And which we need you to do.
Yeah, we've danced before.
Well, we're going to dance up here after.
Oh my God.
So doing technical dance where you're micromanaging every move for the lady or the horse can be very anxious and all that, because it's coming so quick and you're not giving any leeway or thought. So same thing for the horse. So how do you balance that part of, because a lot of riders want to do everything for the horse.
You're talking about in the show?
In the show, or even training.
You need to be able to do that in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't do something, then don't show it. You know, it's like, You need to be able to do whatever you're competing in. It has to feel easy by the time you get to the show. And again, it's not just the technical stuff. It's now the horse being really with you. And that's where I talk about connection. Because I ask horses questions, right, in my conversations with horses. And so the first question I ask is, are you with me? And if they're with you, let's go. Like, everything should be seamless. It's like, you know, everything should flow from one thing to the next. And the horse should know the job, and you should know the job, and together you should be quite practiced and experienced at it. But like I said, that's not usually where the problems are. The problems are in everything else, mentally, emotionally for the horse.
That's probably what you see the most of, right? Yes.
Yeah.
That's what you deal with the most.
Yeah, mostly. In fact, I start all my clinics with, tell me your problems. We write them all down. It's like, all right, how long is this clinic?
I was going to say, how big is your board?
But we do get through it because a lot of those behaviors are clustered into what I call the core behaviors: connection, relaxation, responsiveness. Most horses are not connected, not relaxed, and not really responsive. You know, they're bracy, or they're dull, or, you know, non-responsive, overreactive. Most horses, if they get tense, people don't know what to do with it. It's like, my horse is tense. Easy. How do you relax that horse, you know?
I've seen actually more in the last few weeks with my horse. I've seen an interesting change in him, because this is the first time he's been alone without any other horse, not even a mini, pony, donkey, nothing. And I kind of like it, because when I go in the round pen and call him, he comes running from the other side of the field.
That's nice.
He's like, yeah, I want to hang out with someone. So I love that. But I've noticed him looking much more to me for everything, because there isn't a companion at the moment. And it's temporary, but it's been interesting to see him like almost clingy to me.
Yeah.
You know, hey, oh, she's here.
Yeah.
Good, I'm gonna hang out with her. You know, and he's over the fence.
My leader.
Yes, yeah. So it's neat to see, sometimes to have that experience. You know, a lot of people have multiple horses in one barn or in one field, or even in paddocks connecting to one another. Having a horse by itself with just you has actually been very interesting, because I haven't had that in years.
Yeah.
And having that relationship with the horse and him looking to me has been nice to see, actually.
Yeah.
You know, at first I thought he might be crazy and running the fence lines, and he really wasn't.
That's good.
But he did look to me more, so that's helped me see.
Yeah, that part's nice. And some people, you know, they have the trouble of when their horses live with other horses, they get herd bound, and so separation anxiety can be a big deal. But in the end, you know, I tell people, you know what separation anxiety is? It means the horse would rather be with them. How do you get the horse to rather be with you?
Yes.
It's like, okay, see you later. I'm going with my, you know, with my leader now. You know, my leader, mentor, teacher, my protector, my savior. You know,
I think that's the part that I'm enjoying now.
Yeah,
is
wonderful.
that bonding, you know, with him and him looking for me, and it's been nice. I've enjoyed that.
And that's what I was going to say when I was on campus with you, Linda, that was, you were our leader. You know, Linda's here. You know, Linda. We wanted to be with you because you had that leadership quality.
Yeah.
That you knew you were safe. You knew you were going to be confident. You weren't going to put us in a place that could get us hurt. So that's really important with people as well as spending time with horses.
Completely. I think, you know, it's such a big, trust is such a big issue between horses and people. And we don't realize how much we destroy their trust by just, you know, forcing them to do things against their will, not giving them a choice. Even gently, you can force a horse. And, you know, some horses will put up with it, but there's a lot that don't.
I always remember you saying you can force at phase one.
You can. You can push somebody off a cliff little by little by little. You know,
No, this is
you don't have to shove them off. And I think, you know, I don't think many people want to be mean or try to be mean with their horses. I think they just don't know.
We have to wrap up this segment now with Linda Parelli, but we have much more with her, so make sure you tune in to the Horse Talk Show for more Linda.
Larsen Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larsen, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larsen Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Equestrian. It's not just a word but a title. It comes paired with hard work, discipline, and talent. LipChip is a company built by equestrians to make life at the barn a little easier. Introducing the HoofLink system, powered by LipChip, where a microchip becomes a secure key to unlock temperature, register for your next event, and keep track of required documents. Simply implant, scan, and unlock. Equestrians, the future is here, and the future is LipChip.
This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
The Equine Performance and Innovative Center, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centers for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com. or find them on social media.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever heard of a horse that can talk? Listen to this. With your host, Louisa Barton. She's literally in love with every horse. Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. She's back in the saddle again. And now, here's your host,
Pretty,
Louisa Barton! She's a Brit, she's got the gift of the gab, and her guests are fab.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the second half of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larsen Farms. They are our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Betsy is here from Larsen Hay, my dear friend. I have Dancing Pete Rhoda from Complementary Horsemanship, and we are going to talk about shenanigans in England.
And boy, did we have them.
I first of all want to mention the Royal Mews at Buckingham Palace. My beautiful niece actually got me a book. These photos are not ours. They are actually from the Royal Collection because they have rules about what we can and can't. I would love to show you me dressing up in the attire, but we won't do that. But this lovely book came from the Royal Mews. My beautiful niece Emma got this for me. It's got some absolutely fantastic photos in it of some of what we saw. But going in the Royal Mews was really amazing. It would have been lovely if there were more horses there, but of course the horses were all off doing their jobs. But we did get to see the golden carriage that they actually do the coronations from, which is parked there inside at the Royal Mews. It's quite fantastic to see.
That's the one with the leather suspension.
Oh, really?
I remember that.
Is that right?
Yes,
oh my goodness. Anyway, that was an amazing experience, and we got to see all the carriages. We got to see a couple of the horses. We got to see the stables. We even got to see some of the cars. They talked a little bit about the staffing facilities that are there with for the folks to look after the horses. But one of the ladies that works there shared with us that they solved their manure problem during Queen Victoria's reign because she didn't like the smell from her bedroom.
Right.
So they now actually compost it and put it off in the palace gardens. And
they do what?
They compost it.
Compost it?
It's not compost, it's compost.
Okay.
God, Don't you know how to speak the English language?
Let me look it up. I don't think it's in there.
Look up that book. Get that book.
We had some other amazing experiences. I was so fortunate to meet a wonderful man who lives in the house that I grew up in. So I took Betsy to see the home I lived in till I was 8.
It was known as Walsh Hall.
And my parents actually sold the hall to the lead singer of the Electric Light Orchestra, Jeff Lynne, and he sold it to Robin Campbell, who is one of the musicians from UB40, you know, like Red Red Wine, UB40. So we were so fortunate that Val let us, we thought, just come and walk around the garden. That's the lake my dad dug and built a dam across it. And because there was already one lake, and he built a second one with a dam. That's Betsy walking down the little path I used to walk down when I was a little girl. And it was just so lovely to go there and see it's on the historic registry buildings too. So it's actually preserved and protected, and new modern materials can't be used on it, and everything has to be approved. Those are descendants of my geese that used to chase me around the garden.
And that's
they come
the
back
truth.
every year.
Every year
They come back, and it was lovely. I'm not going to show you too many pictures of the inside of the house because I don't want to invade Mr. Baines's privacy and showing, because it is his family's home. So
when was this built?
The 1400s is the earlier part of the home, and that some of it dates back, they think, to about the 1200s, but the 1400s is what they're sure. And then there's a newer part on one end.
The carriage house,
yes,
correct?
This was the carriage house, the coach house, yes. And he's actually refurbishing everything. It's a very slow procedure because everything has to be done with permission. And he also wanted to get some photographs of what some of the things look like. So I did get those photos for him after our visit. And they're working on some of the area there in the front. But the more modern part, the red brick part, was added in 1938. But the earlier parts are the 1400s. So it was a really neat experience to be able to walk around and tell him where some things used to be.
And how many bedroom and...
upstairs, I think there's 7 bedrooms.
Wow.
Together, and it was just an amazing house to live in. And that wishing well was actually there when I was a little girl. And that wall, the other side of that wall, is where my ponies were in the area on the other side of that. So it was just it was an amazing experience to be back in Meriden, the little village of Meriden. That's Val. Shout out to him. Thank you so much for being so kind and letting us come in and kind of invade his home with no warning. And we certainly hope to keep that friendship going. We're already communicating and sharing information about the home that we know and that my parents know, that he would like to know, because he wants to kind of bring it right back to where it used to be. So pretty amazing, wonderful visit. Really made the trip to England so special.
Kindest man.
You were telling us that you used to have dreams that...
I used to have dreams about secret passageways, and he showed them to us, so they're really there in the house, which was really amazing.
So what was the house originally built for?
It was originally belonged, actually, I didn't know this, but he told us it originally belonged to a sheriff who was actually the one who brought about the arrest of Guy Fawkes, who November the 5th is based on the little holiday thing we have on November 5th. He actually tried to blow up Parliament, him and 12 of his friends, and they caught him, and the sheriff who caught him actually originally had the home. So that was kind of a neat story I didn't know.
They left
from the hall to go
and stop that.
To stop Guy Fawkes. So that's kind of very historical. But it belonged to a number of different people over the years, lords and all of that. But it was the manor of the village that we lived in, which actually the village marks the centre of England, although there's some debate on that as well. But it was lovely to go back there.
So what did your dad do?
Yeah. My dad had a factory right across the street that's actually still there. And he built boats and lighting sets and generators and mobile offices and all that. And he was also a boat racer. But his plant was right across, and it's still right across the street there.
Yeah, he could just walk across the country road there
to work. So it was just neat. It was a neat experience. We also visited Warwick Castle, which of course Henry VIII resided at.
Yes.
And it was a lovely, lovely experience. That's also dated way, way back, beyond Walsh Hall even. Yeah. But we got to visit Warwick, which is a really incredible castle. It's probably one of
Now, is that where the ravens live?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I've been there.
Yes, you have. And then we, of course, that's where we belong, you know, in the stocks, right?
Stocks.
But yeah, it was lovely, real step back in history. We actually got to go and see the War of the Roses, which was very well done, with some jousting and
good
riding.
Actors
yes.
and good riders.
Very good riders. That was a very, very neat experience to visit that. They actually did the story very well. There were a lot of kids
and factual.
there. Yeah, very factual. There were a lot of kids there with field trips because it's still in, school is still in England for another couple of weeks. So that's a trebuchet. That was a weapon they used. They shot at the enemy, and it's quite a procedure to draw it all back. And
like a catapult.
Yeah, like a large catapult. That's exactly
what
right.
it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful experience. It was really nice. We had a lovely day, lovely weather. So the whole trip was just, that's from up at the very top.
And the tower.
Yes, I was up in the tower where I belong. It was amazing, really. And actually, I got a minute left. I got to tell this story. So Louisa and Rullan, who I was named after my great-great aunt, was supposed to marry the Earl of Warwick. And she wouldn't because she loved another man who she actually never got to marry because her father would not allow it. And she actually dedicated a church in Sherborne that we visited as well.
Yes,
that was
we
very,
did.
very old. But she was actually supposed to marry the Earl of Warwick. And had she, well, we'd have been visiting our home.
Louisa would have been royalty.
That's right.
Look out.
We are coming back with Dr. Alberto Rullan from the Equine Performance Innovative Center, and he's going to talk about ozone therapy for horses. Stay with us. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larsen Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center. The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing, offering great communication, quality fencing, and all done in a timely manner. Reliable service with horse safety in mind all the time. Also offering customized residential, vinyl, wood, aluminium, and chain link fences services. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe. For more information, find Equifence of Florida on Facebook now.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
My name is Dr. Natalie Solomon. I formulated Equigreen with cutting-edge science and technology alongside the passion that is represented by a lifelong love of horses. I created a product that I would trust for my horses because they deserve nothing but the best for their bodies. Horses rely on us to take care of them, to love them, to respect them. This is how Equigreen came to life. Equigreen, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
Does your farm need a facelift? Has the harsh Florida climate left your barns, stable doors, and fences stained? J&S Pressure Washing has a professional team who can exceed your expectations and restore your farm to its former glory. Get rid of dust and cobwebs that can cause allergies and health issues for horses, and keep your horses safe by limiting fire hazards in the barn. J&S Pressure Washing can clean your house, your barns, your fences, and your driveway, and you can count on dependable and professional services. For more information, call Stephen at 352-502-5355.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
This is Charlotte Cannon, and you are listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Louisa Barton here for the Horse Talk Show and Equus TV Network, and I am at the Equine Performance and Innovative Center with Dr. Alberto Rullan, and we are going to talk about a little bit of trailblazing here. Arthritis. Inflammation, older horses, big problem, can be a big issue even for a retired horse that's not doing as much. Horse owners face this a lot. Let's talk about kind of trailblazing here and leading the pack a little bit with this Ozone and kind of the effect you're seeing with this.
Oh, that's a good name for it, trailblazing.
Yes, you are a bit of a trailblazer.
I like to call it controversial. Alternative. When we always trying to improve our treatment. That's one of the reasons I wrote our ebook, which is free, by the way, in www.albertorullan.com. So at albertorullan.com you can find all this information, because many years ago my brother William was diagnosed with leukemia. And at the moment, there was no treatment for the leukemia that he got diagnosed. But previous to that, as a veterinary student, I learned a whole lot about stem cells. And right away after he got diagnosed, we started researching what's out there, what can we do. And they had him here in a hospital in town, and they were not doing a whole lot for it, right? So we asked to be transferred to another hospital. And they were very, very, very happy to do that, of course, because the treatment here probably was not going to work. So over there, they say, hey, we have an experimental study that we think might help if you guys want to get on it. And it was a stem cell experimental study. Without thinking about it twice, my brother and I had a quick meeting, we agree on it, and now he's still with us,
doing very well too.
Doing very well, right? In addition to that, they also told him, if you get into this experimental study, you will never have kids. You will never be able to be fertile again. However, that was uncharted territory, because there was not many experience with stem cells in people. As a matter of fact, if you remember, your audience remember, stem cells used to be taboo.
I do remember.
In the world, right? There used to be people highly against stem cells.
Yes, I do.
Highly against it. They thought this weird thing in their head. They had this weird, re-stimulation, that stem cell was about killing something to give life to something else. Totally wrong, now as we know. So this was many years ago, and after they put the toughest, most effective chemotherapeutic agent in his blood to wipe out all his bone marrow, they infused him with stem cells. And several months later, he was declared cancer-free. Wow. And his bone marrow was working again.
It's amazing.
So after that event, we realized that different is not always bad. And we realized that change and looking for options is not always bad. And you cannot just throw the towel at a disease that we haven't fixed yet. We can just not throw the towel and say, we're never gonna fix this. That is a very pessimistic approach.
It is.
Right? So that prompts us to always be trying something different and better for our patients. And unfortunately, in this country, that's very difficult.
Mm-hmm. You are right.
It's very difficult because there's something that people promote, evidence-based medicine. But guess what? Someone has to create that evidence. Because if my brother would have not been part of that research, that evidence would have not occurred.
That's right.
So we have been accused of practicing non-evidence-based medicine because back in days we were using stem cells for a lot of products. As a matter of fact, someone tried to get me to court because I used stem cells on a horse. How about that?
Yeah.
That's how difficult it is in this country to be at the alternative treatments forefront. So, having said that, then we jump into what else can we do? And we learned from this awesome human doctor named Dr. Minkoff that he was using ozone for several diseases. And he was using it for Lyme disease very successfully, for tendinopathies very successfully. So it happens that one day I was working at a racetrack in Kentucky, and I got kicked in the knee. Very hard. And it hurt so much. It really hurt. I thought it was broken. I got kicked so hard that, I kid you not, in the MRI, you see the shape of the shoe on my bone.
Ouch.
So you can imagine the damage that was caused. But luckily, the bone didn't break. It's all the Puerto Rican good meat that I ate when I was a kid. So the bone didn't break. But I said, okay, well, I have to work. I cannot be out of work. So we put ozone around my knee. Then I went to a doctor in town, and I said, I want you to put ozone on my inside my joint. 3-4 days later, I was back at the gym. I couldn't believe it.
Amazing.
So why not try that with horses, I say. And after that, we've done over 3,000 cases.
It's amazing.
And we have helped a lot of horses. Is it the only treatments that we do? No. It's just one more tool that we have.
One more tool in the toolbox.
To help horses.
Ozone.
It's very controversial. The evidence is very lacking. It's still on the research. It's still an alternative. Plus, in this country, who controls the treatments? Do you know?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
The pharmaceuticals.
I was about to say, you beat me to it.
Right? The pharmaceuticals control the treatment. When I went to vet school, every lunch, I didn't pay for one single lunch. And every vet that is watching this could attest to that. All pharmaceuticals and feed companies pay for our lunch. That's a beautiful marketing. That's a beautiful marketing.
You never go hungry.
You feed the hungry. You feed the hungry, poor, high-debt veterinarian, and you end up with someone that wants to be very loyal to your medications.
Yes. Yes.
Right? It's a fantastic marketing.
Yes.
Well, guess what? Oxygen doesn't have a whole lot of money.
Doesn't have a sales guy, right?
To pay for lunch.
You are so right.
So that's definitely part of why the evidence is so lacking. So the evidence has to come from us, people who are okay with getting attacked, okay with trying to get sued, okay with trying to do research, okay with getting the controversy of trying to make something better.
And it's all for the horses.
It's all for the horses. Our vision is to treat a million horses, and we're gonna do it one way or another.
And I want to say at the end of this, in closing, that neither myself nor Dr. Rullan are against pharmaceuticals, and there is a place for them. And Dr. Rullan would absolutely attest to the fact that there are times that we need them and we use them. These are therapies that we have found complement the treatment of the horse to make the horse better. And we want to emphasize that because
Dr. Rullan and I both know that they have their place, but we love what these alternative therapies are doing. He has thousands of horses that have been treated with this ozone treatment, and he has seen incredible results. Got to wrap it up. Louisa Barton here for the Horse Talk Show and Equus TV Network. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larsen Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center. The Equine Performance and Innovative Center, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centers for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the final segment of the Horse Talk Show for this week, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larsen Farms. They are our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Oh, you two did that so well. And speaking of Larsen Hay, I have Betsy here from Larsen Hay with me, and Dancing Pete Roeder from Complementary Horsemanship. And it is time for Dancing Pete to do his tip of the week, brought to you by Wildlife Works.
Dancing Pete's tip of the week, brought to you by Complementary Horsemanship. This tip is sponsored by WildlifeWorksLLC.com for your unwanted wild critters removal. You love the wolf?
Yeah, the way he
slinks across there.
So our tip of the week is the marshmallow challenge that they do for kids.
Stop talking about food, I'm hungry.
I'm sorry.
I ate a lot of really good food in England.
I know, I heard. So that means they give a kid a marshmallow and say, you can eat that marshmallow or you can wait 5 minutes and you get a second marshmallow that you can then eat both of them. So some kids go, oh, I'll wait, and some kids go ahead and eat the marshmallow. Now, what does this have to do with horses? That's what I look at when you go and show. Do you want to just get the blue ribbon for today, or do you want to get the blue ribbon for tomorrow and keep going and keep going? So I see a lot of people that don't scratch. The horse is having some trouble at the trailer, going to the show, in the warm-up arena. Instead of scratching, they go, well, I spent all this money,
He means quitting, by the way.
Quitting, yes.
If
you didn't know that.
In case you thought you meant like scratching. Yeah.
So instead of saying, hey, well, this isn't a good day to show, they go, well, I spent all this money, and then what they don't realize is that could have an effect for the next 4 shows. Instead of going, hey, my horse isn't doing really well, I need to do some schooling to help him, and then I'm going to go ahead and say I'm not going to go into the show, and then the next show it could get better instead of just a quick, I got to do it because I spent the money. So a lot of people don't think beyond, and that's why I said the marshmallow challenge. Are you willing to wait the time before you get your second marshmallow, and now you get twice the goodies? So that's my tip of the week.
That's a good tip.
Thank you.
Yep.
Marshmallows are always better.
That was practiced by my friends this weekend, rodeoing.
Oh.
Sandy and Lori were entered in 3 rodeos.
Yes, ma'am.
They went to 2. It was muddy, sloppy, rainy, not great. They placed at both of those rodeos. There was NFR girls entered, and both of them won checks at both rodeos. There was a 3rd rodeo to go to, and they opted to turn out of the 3rd rodeo. Conditions wouldn't be great there either. And they said, we've had a really good weekend at 2 rodeos. Our horses did great. We're going to stop now. It's the same thing that you're referring to.
Yes, ma'am. And
save your horse
for the next
time.
We're not trail loading for today. We're trail loading for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's great. I also had a student say that they had the best warm-up they've ever had before the show.
Mm-hmm.
And they went into the show and the horse blew up.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, you should have stopped at the warm-up and said, hey, that's the greatest warm-up we've ever had. I'm leaving.
You know, sometimes you stop while you're ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't be greedy.
That's right.
There's an old saying, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered.
Oh, gosh, Betsy.
That sounds harsh.
It's harsh, but it's true. I mean, you be happy.
Right.
You be happy. Don't be greedy. You be greedy and you want it right now. You want that second marshmallow to wait for it, or do you just be greedy and take the first one? And
there are no shortcuts.
There's no shortcuts, no.
And it's time for Horse Talk Show to go to the dogs. The Horse Talk Show goes to the dogs at Ocala Dog Ranch.
Neil Hennessy, the owner of Ocala Dog Ranch. Teach your dog their name. Play the name game. Every time you call your dog's name and they look at you, give them a treat. Let them loose in a small area. Let them go about their business. Then call their name. When they look at you, throw them a treat. Do that 3 or 4 times in a row when they look at you every time. On the last one, give them a jackpot of treats. That's a whole bunch of treats down by their feet so that they can enjoy themselves with the treats after you've been calling their name.
I just want to say thank you so much to Neil, because he took such extra special care of Aslan and Lucy while I was in England. I didn't have to worry at all. And they do know their names. It's very important that your dog knows its name. I know yours do.
Rush and Myra.
They know,
Myra,
don't
wait.
they?
Rush, go. Yep.
They do.
They do know.
It's very important. There's a lot of power in the name. They know when you're talking to them, you address them just like people, right?
Yes, like children.
Yeah. Otherwise, it would be like if I said something and I was saying it
chaos.
to Pete and I didn't say I was. Nobody would know who I was talking to. It's important. They know.
That's why we have names.
That's right. And now, because we have a few minutes left, we're going to tell you about Wales. Because Wales was...
Are you talking about the animal?
No, the place. And actually, we went to Palace Vaults, didn't we?
We did.
To have a bite to eat. And Betsy ate fish and chips at
For the
Palace
first
Vaults
time.
for the first time.
Original
And it was
fish and
delicious,
chips. Yeah.
Right, the real
Oh.
thing.
Which is,
so shout out to
French
Ian.
fries.
Yes, yeah, it was, and we had a lovely time, and we were right there in Carnarvon. I think I said that right.
Mm-hmm.
And we also went to Snowdonia National Park, and that's the back of the car. And it was really, really beautiful in Wales. Yeah, no, it was gorgeous, wasn't it? The roads were a little windy, sheep everywhere. We were right by Anglesey, actually, right across from there is Anglesey, and that's where my family, the Welsh side of my family came from. That's the Isle of Anglesey over there. But that is the castle that's out there on the coast, Carnarvon Castle, and it was just beautiful,
So
wasn't
what's
it?
the difference between Wales and England?
A border and a language.
And a language?
Yeah.
Yes, they
Yeah.
speak Welsh.
Yes, they do. And actually, that faded out a little bit for a while. And they were not using it as much, and they were not teaching it as much. But now they're using that
bringing it
language,
back.
yes,
And
in
a lot
really
of the
big
people
way.
speak Welsh there now.
Yes, and those were some of the yummy things.
Because
That
I've called people from Wales English or from England, and they are not happy.
No.
Yeah.
That's a lot of really good, yummy stuff
Look
that
at
I could
I think I'm looking at the digestive cookies
She was
for
fascinated
Jane
by
Mabe.
them, yes.
Actually, for Jane Mabe.
For Jane Mabe, yes,
Yeah.
she was looking for digestives. But it was just, it was a lovely visit. The drive up there to Snowdonia National Park was probably one of the most gorgeous things. And the little stone walls and sheep running across the road. And
Did you see any horses?
Very few horses and very few cattle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Predominantly
Sheep everywhere.
sheep. And the hillsides are so steep and rugged and rocky. It's much more conducive. We found out that the natural predator for sheep is fox. And the fox are much larger than our fox here in the States. But they don't have coyotes. They don't have wolves.
Right.
so
They don't have
it's-
rabies.
And that would be the only predator.
Yeah, it was just it was really, really a neat experience. It was about a 3-hour drive
Wow, that's
from
a
where we
chair.
were in. I know, isn't it? From where we were in Warwickshire to out to this area. It was about 3 hours, but it was a really, really pleasant drive, and there was a lot of scenery, and it was just it was a beautiful visit. So
the people
shout
are
out
so
to
kind.
the folks there,
Yeah.
and the way they took care of us.
So if you want to take a trip to England
You
and
need
be
to
with
see.
a guide that can take you to all the places and know everybody, Louisa Barton will be starting a new business.
Yes, she said.
The horse talk,
RealToursUK.com.
the horse talk show goes to England.
Yes, that's right. We have to wrap up. I want to thank Betsy for coming in and helping us share our story from England. Whether you're in Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital of the world, or not, happy horsing around until the same time next week.
See you next time.